From the banks of the Allegheny, welcome to FilmBit's Film School. Hey everybody, last time we talked about 4 important shots, and this time we're going to talk about the 3 designations of sound in a film. Now I'm not talking about music or score or soundtrack, I'm talking about the actual sounds you hear in a motion picture. The first sound we're going to talk about today is diegetic sound. Diegetic sound. And what diegetic sound is are all the sounds that are pertinent to what's going on in the scene. That would be character dialogue, or perhaps a cell phone going off, or maybe if you're driving a car and someone cuts in front of you, the skid of the brakes or the honk of a horn. Yeah. Relevant sounds going on in a scene, diegetic sound. Next would be non-diegetic sound. Non-diegetic sound are sounds that we as the audience hear, but the character may not, actually doesn't. Here's an example of how diegetic sound can turn into non-diegetic sound. Maybe a character is listening to a song in a particular shot, and then the shot changes to something completely different, but that song keeps playing. We in the audience hear that sound. The character, who may not even be in the new shot while the song keeps playing, the character may have started hearing it, but then does not. Anything that the characters cannot perceive is non-diegetic. Finally, ambient sound. Ambient sound is any sound we hear that is not necessarily relevant to what's going on in a shot. So if we're doing a film set in, let's say, New York City in the 70s or the Bronx, we might hear, and it's at nighttime, we might hear a variety of sounds of crime and kind of terror. Maybe a gunshot in the distance, maybe a woman's scream. But maybe that's not what's pertinent to what's going on in the shot itself. Rocky, if you remember in Rocky, there's a scene where he's warming his hands by the fire, what have you, or maybe you walk by, a fire and you hear the crackle of the fire, but it's not necessary to the scene. Just like the name implies, ambient. It's something that's going on in the environment, but is not important. So our 3 sounds, diegetic, what is being heard by our characters on screen, non-diegetic, what is not being heard by our characters on screen, and ambient, which is just the sounds of life or the atmosphere around our characters during a scene. Class dismissed.